Everybody, Orange Podcast Bad. We're late. We're here. You'll be fine. Let's get some chat rooms going. What's going on over there, Paul? How you doing?
Hey, what's happening, brother man? Glad to be here. It's another great day in the state of Texas. And once again, we could fill our entire hour with things that have happened today.
Oh my god. Well, where would you like to start? Because I got one more chat room to open. Uh, what was that? What's the thing that popped into your head? You're like, that's weird.
Well, I think Karen Reed being found not guilty of everything except DUI is the highlight weirdness of the day, bro.
Oh my god, insane, right? So
Right?
they allegedly, right, comes home drunk, runs over her police officer, husband or boyfriend, doesn't know she did it, or she does know she did it, because the next
Yeah.
morning she calls her friends and says, "What do I do?" He's laying out there in the snow, and they're like, call an ambulance. And they testified against her, right? They actually testified against her. And
Yes.
the jury
Yeah.
still said, nope, not guilty. Not
No,
guilty.
no, that so you got to take into account that she might have been DUI, but we think the Minnesota police took the tail light plastic and planted it on the guy.
Interesting.
And everybody's like, "Oh, yeah. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah, that's what happened."
Oh my gosh. I I have no idea. I did not get to see any of the evidence. I did not watch the trial. But just face value, you just gotta go, what? What
Yeah.
in the hell?
Yeah. And
Because there's been other cases where people have been heavily intoxicated, partying at home with friends. Apparently, kick friends out the back door of the house because they get mad at them, and wake up the next morning and find them dead in the snow. And they were totally found guilty of, I think, involuntary manslaughter at that.
yeah. Oh, remember that? Yeah, exactly. Remember that one where the
Yep.
guy and three of his friends were found frozen in the snow, dead on his back porch? And they had, yeah, I know the one you're talking about, Sean.
Right.
Yeah,
They were all partying, and he got mad and said, "Get out." And they're like,
yeah,
"We can't go anywhere. It's a blizzard.
yeah.
Get out."
So,
So, and they made it about 10 feet and froze to death. And he had no idea, didn't remember any of it, right? Which happens if you're that level of intoxicated, that's going to
but
happen.
so let me ask you this, Sean. We've been friends for many years, and I'm like, I'm I'm tired of your BS tonight. You just need
just,
to go
just
outside, and you're gonna go, okay, and you go outside and freeze to death. No, you're not. You're gonna
no,
go. It's 5 below zero. We're friends. I'm still gonna beat your ass, but I'm staying inside.
right? Well, we could face the opposite direction in chairs and not talk.
Yeah,
Right. I am not a chance. I am not going outside, and there's no way in hell I could drive myself home in this condition. So
right.
screw you. And it's not an excuse, right? Being that drunk, and I don't know why they walked outside. There was 3 on 1, right? Why didn't they just duct tape him to a chair?
Right. Exactly right. What are you talking about? Why are you the supreme leader of the basement heater?
Oh my god. The good thing I saw today, I wish I had video of it. Margot Martin posted from the roof of the White House a view of the mall with one of the flags that Trump had installed. Man, this thing's huge. I thought that was really cool that Trump paid for and installed two flags on both sides of the White House.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
big, huge flags. So, like, when you see the video from the fence line, you see the front of the White House, this
Yeah.
massive flag, and then what looks like a teeny little thumbnail-sized flag of the normal one that's on the roof. It's just 'cause it's Trump, and so it's like a 50-foot flag or
Oh,
something
yeah, yeah, that's
retarded.
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So, I let me find the videos. I did start, I like this, I've got a clip. So, I hate these stupid congressional hearings. I think they're absolutely retarded, but every once in a while, there's a good clip. And I wanted to play this one from SecDef. Let's see what you think.
Why did you decide that these four patriots were not worthy enough to have their names on a base?
Well, Senator, as you know, this was never about the names of the bases they were renamed to.
So
This
you-
is
so
about
you don't- so you don't
restoring
challenge the
all
worthiness?
bases,
You don't-
restoring all
okay.
bases to their original
To the
name, because
Confederate
we're not
names.
about erasing
Okay,
history.
you wanted to, you don't
Sen-
care about their military record. You wanted to restore the Confederate names. When you called the Gregg family to tell them that their dad's name was no longer going to be on the base, what was their reaction?
Senator, the Army notified them of that.
You didn't call any of the families, and I've spoken with the families, and the families were called by the press. That's how they learned about this. They learned about it from the press. You didn't call the Barfoot family, the Gregg family, and you didn't call the Adams family. I told the families I'd ask you about this today. In fact, two of General Gregg's granddaughters, Avery and Sydney, are right here in the audience, and I want to ask you this as I close. While you announced that these brave men and women's names would be stripped from the Virginia bases, no orders to that effect have been received by the base commanders. In light of the patriotic service of Van Barfoot, Arthur Gregg, Charity Adams, and Mary Walker, I'd like to ask you simply not to issue the orders changing the names of these Virginia bases. These families, my Commonwealth, are very proud of these heroes, very satisfied with these names, and ask you not to change them. Will you honor these exemplary patriots and keep their worthy names in places on the bases they loved and where they served?
Senator, we very much thank and appreciate them for their service, and we'll find ways to recognize them, but the orders will soon be going to those bases to change the names back to the original name that never should have been changed.
But you have the power to not send those orders. They haven't gone out yet, correct?
Thank you, Senator. Your time has expired.
What an asshole. So,
Hey, Senator, your time's expired.
what's funny, I don't have the clip because I don't get a lot of clips from these things. I think they're a waste of time. But he told another senator, she was asking him a ridiculous line of questions, and he just stopped. He's just and she's like, "Are you not going to answer my yes or no question?" And he goes, "Your time's expired." Ah! Ah! I'm a senator! Damn you!
Yeah.
You're a Secretary of Defense! I'm a senator! Yeah, okay. Cool. So there were some banger clips out there from this, but I thought his comment on this when he was talking about it was that we're not into deleting history. That's why we're changing all the names back to who they were, even if they were a Confederate.
Yeah.
The-
We're
and-
not into altering history.
right. And so all the people that want to tear down statues or do this or that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I gotta say, if you're a Democrat and you're on that side, you're on the wrong side of history, bro.
Yes.
You really are. Just let it be, let it be. Let it be what it is, and stop.
Well,
Just stop.
why are they trying to delete the history of the Democrat Party? The Democrat Party was the Confederate Party, the party of slavery. The Republican Party founded somewhere around 1850 in Wisconsin in a church. The church building still stands. It's a historic place now. Was founded with one of their primary missions was to end slavery. The Republican Party did that.
Right.
So they're trying to delete their previous history, not history of the United States, just theirs. I find that curious.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't. Oh, Sean, dude, that's pretty epic because I didn't think of it from that point of view. No, you're 100% right.
I
Dang,
mean,
and you're from Indiana, so
I
that's
am.
yeah. Holy cow, dude!
Man, we had corn as far as you could see. Corn everywhere. Man. There wasn't even people. There was just corn. It's like a corn state. Oh, it's funny. But
Me
that's
so corny.
dude, there was it's still there, an amusement park called Indiana Beach. It's in Monticello. And they had this forever, for 30 years. They had their theme song was "There's more than corn in Indiana at Indiana Beach." Uh,
Really?
yes. Oh, the videos from like the 80s. I'll have to grab some of those and play them
Oh,
on
dude,
another.
that's awesome, man.
Oh, they're awesome. They're straight out of 80s with kids snacking on corn dogs and having an ice, like a frozen ice cone, right, where they squirted the colored juice into
Oh
the.
yeah.
They're hilarious. We'll have to do that. We'll have to bring up some old funny commercials at a different time. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm going, you're only deleting history from your party.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. Are you
Yeah.
afraid your voters are going to finally see who you've always been?
Yep.
Yes. Here's what it is. Man, I just got started probably 20 minutes ago. I'll watch the rest of it sometime. It's 2 hours long. Do you see this Ted Cruz thing? Because the clips are bangers. The Ted Cruz interview on Tucker Carlson Network.
What?
Yeah, so Tucker Carlson interviewed Ted Cruz. Um,
Tetris. Are you
Ted
saying
Cruz.
Tetris?
Ted Cruz. Senator
Ted
Cruz.
Cruz.
Yeah. Have you seen any of that interview yet?
No, I've seen the advertisement for it, but I haven't watched it. No.
I'm gonna watch it because it looks wild, and Tucker's got some wild takes. You want me to, I've got two of them. You want me to play one of them? All right.
But I just want to pull that thread because it's so important. I voted for Donald Trump. I campaigned for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's our president. And we're on the cusp of a war. So if there's evidence that Iran paid hitmen to kill Donald Trump and is currently doing that, where's that? Like, what are you even talking? I've never heard that before.
Okay.
Where's the evidence? Who are these people? Why haven't they been arrested? Why are we not at war with Iran?
That's a great question to ask.
How do you know that that's true?
We know that it's true because we have been told that by the military and our intelligence community for the last 2 years.
We meaning who?
Congress has and the public. I mean, we had multiple testimonies. I can send you testimony.
Do we know the names of the people or where this happened or what they tried to do to kill Trump?
We have not apprehended an Iranian hitman trying to kill him. We know that Iran is trying to do so.
In the United States?
Yes. And by the way, like Iran...
This just seems like a huge headline, and you're acting like everyone knows this. I didn't know that.
Iran put out a whole video about murdering Trump.
Right, but I've never heard evidence that there are hitmen in the United States. I mean, trying to kill Trump right now, we should have a nationwide dragnet on this, and we should attack Iran immediately if that's true. Don't you think?
No.
If they're trying to assassinate our president?
They have been for 2 years.
Then
they
why
are
aren't we
enemies.
at war with them?
Well, we are trying to
Why don't we just nuke Tehran if they're trying to murder our president? There's nothing that you could do that would be worse for the United States than murdering Trump. And I just don't understand why you're not calling for the use of nuclear weapons against the Ayatollah right now. I'm serious. If you really believe they're trying to murder
the use of nuclear weapons,
whatever
that's part
it
of the
takes.
problem of.
So what do you mean? You don't seem to take the allegations seriously. I do. If you believe they're trying to murder Trump, we need to stop what we're doing and punish them.
So Tucker says nuke the Persians. Tehran's about.
Holy shit!
Iran's about what, 42% Persian, and then you sprinkle in Kurds, you sprinkle in some other Asians, you sprinkle like the next biggest population I think is the Kurds at like 20%. Actual Muslim populations like 19%, which is the Ayatollah's people. He reigns in power through fear. So you want to nuke the Persians? What? Why?
What? I, you know, I really like Tucker, and he's smart about a lot of stuff. But I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about?
Right. Well, and as we've discussed, you can't, we can't, this cannot be forced. Regime change in Iran cannot be forced by any other nation. It has to be
No,
by the
it's
Persians. The Persians have to do it.
Yeah.
They have to overthrow. And so if you do that, all you're going to do is get another nasty regime that still wants the death of the West.
The same with Syria. So you got a whole, you got rid of what's his name. And so what do you got now? You got a guy who's on the top 10 list of, wanted terrorists, that he's filling the vacuum left in Syria. Okay, well, that was a brilliant move, because when al-Assad was there, you could at least control him. Now you got this guy who's a zealot, and you don't know. And so it's the same with Iran. Okay, for me, tactically speaking, I would have bombed the dog shit out of the Ayatollah and all of his mullahs and all that, and I'd gone to my local CIA house and said, hey, find me a moderate that wears, bird dog shorts, Birkenstocks, and a polo shirt, and let's put him in, and let's go from there. That's what I would have done.
So, and I think that Iran, whether I don't know what's going to happen over the next 3 or 4 days, but I think Iran, because of the actions of Israel, of unaliving all the mullahs, or most of the mullahs, right, has literally given Iran their best chance to overthrow their government, do it
Yeah.
themselves, which will set them up in a better position of power. And I was just thinking about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, right? Where for once we didn't interfere, and they did a regime change, and you got the crown prince,
Right.
who has been very friendly to the United States, wants to do
Yep.
lots of trade,
Yeah.
is totally willing to let us build big, beautiful runways and maintain them, and all because we didn't force a regime change. We let the people of the kingdom do that. So let's try this, just because we were on the subject of Tucker. Let's try this. Let's try this other clip. What a weird interview.
Growing
Right.
up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my, you pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
we are commanded to support Israel. And we're
What does that
told,
mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel. Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis. That's what God is talking about.
The nation
in
of
Genesis.
Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel.
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis? Is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes,
it is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
He's the prime minister,
right?
What?
But just like, America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is
there.
silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
You believe
Israel.
that's what God was talking about in
Yes.
Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is.
So that was one of the teaser clips that
Oh my God,
Tucker
dude.
put out there. I know, I'm totally gonna watch this thing. It's wild. But the way, right, a lot of people are freaking out online because they're like, he seemed so nice to Vladimir Putin. Why is he attacking Senator Cruz? I was like, I don't see it that way. I see him asking questions.
Yeah.
And I think they're legitimate questions, but I do think Tucker's a little off base on this nuking Tehran thing.
He
but-
really is. Yeah.
but to question, to go into a theological debate, and it's man, they're gonna have to tune into some more Yankee and the Canucks because we
Yeah.
do that with Edward. So if
Yeah.
that's your thing, we got a channel for you here. It's called Orange Podcast Bad. On Tuesdays, we bring
Yep.
Edward on, and there's some theology. I don't get it. I'll have to watch the whole thing. Then I'll have better comments on it. But these clips are wild, absolutely wild, and I don't understand the motive there. And then Trump comes out and says that Tucker called him to apologize for his view on Tehran, and I'm like, did that really happen?
What?
Yeah. It was at a presser. He's like, oh, Tucker called me to apologize for what he said about me and Tehran. I was like,
No.
I know, look.
No, brother. No, brother.
Look, Trump's a showman. He's all game. I don't take anything Trump says seriously, and I don't mean this in a bad way.
No,
Trump
I got
says stuff.
me
It's-
either. Yeah.
It's about what he does.
Yeah.
Right? It's the actions that he does, not what he says. So I don't pay attention to a lot of it, but I saw a clip of it and it was like, what? No, come on. Tucker didn't call to apologize to you. You're being ridiculous. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it was at the presser. It was at the presser today. He was saying that when he was talking after the flagpoles got installed and the flags rose.
Right.
Yeah, somebody asked him about it, and so of course,
Really?
yeah, of course he called me. Yeah, he called me. to
Oh,
apologize.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my boy called me to apologize because,
Right?
he doesn't really know what Robert Kennedy's doing.
It's so funny. Kennedy. Yeah, well, Kennedy's out there doing whatever Kennedy does too, but. So, that all the influencers, I guess, are saying MAGA is now divided, and I just LOL under those posts. I was like, Trump's MAGA.
Divided.
Trump's MAGA. You guys are all just somebody talking on the internet. Tucker's a guy that talks on the internet. Like, you're not the president. Your political influence is not nearly as big as you think it is. Trump is MAGA. Trump is
Yeah.
America first.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, give me a break, you know?
Well, I mean, what's he got? 15 million subscribers. How many eyeballs does Trump get when he posts something?
Yeah.
100 million? 200
Yep.
million? So, yep, he's MAGA. What do you think about Tulsi and being excommunicated from uh, Trump's cabinet meetings the last few days over
Well,
over the supposed intelligence gap in
yeah,
Iran?
I gotta tell you, I I'm a little concerned about Trump's interpretation of things, you know, and I'm a little concerned that he says, "I don't give a shit what she says. This is what I believe." So I believe Tulsi as the leader of her position
Right.
has the inside baseball. She knows, dude. She
I
knows
think
what's
so.
going on. And I think, you know, speaking of Trump's ego, she didn't take Trump's ego into account when she said, "This is what we discovered." So she was just playing her role, doing it flat out. This is what we discovered. And it didn't align with Trump's, I'm gonna I'm gonna blow Iran out of the world. And so he said, nah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm gonna, do this, that, and the other. But I I don't like to see that kind of, I don't want to call it animosity, but you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I,
it's just it is super Trump-like, right? He doesn't hide anything. He doesn't hold anything back to a fault. Someone asked about it, and he said, "I don't care what she says. I
yeah,
believe, I believe." What that's totally in Trump fashion. But I'm with you on the. I would think Tulsi Gabbard would have the absolute most up-to-date information out of the intelligence
dude, she's
community.
DNI.
Yes. So whether they were 3 years away or 20 years away still, Trump has maintained his position for 2 decades now that Iran should never, ever possess a nuclear weapon. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with his deal was, hey, listen, no enriching at all. Just stop that shit. We've got plenty of energy grade uranium. We'll sell it to you super cheap. You can produce as many nuclear electric facilities as you want. We'll just sell you rods super cheap. You stop. That was his deal. Stop enriching altogether. Just stop it. Shut the
Yeah,
facilities down.
yeah,
And of course, Iran being toddlers, said, "No, screw you. We're going to keep going." And I think that what people are missing too is they're all talking about the U.S. is going to war with Iran. I'm not there yet, but this is part of a continuation of October 7th from Israel, because Iran funded the Houthis and the Hamas and everyone else that likes to throw rockets into Israel and to kill Israelis. And so
sure.
this is a continuation of that. Israel's run up into a challenge where they don't have technical capability with the bunker buster. They
Yeah,
just don't have the technical capability. And they're asking for a little help. And I'm fully believe if Trump's just being crazy to be crazy, Israel will find another way to destroy that facility without us having to send up
Oh
B2s.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And they have the determination and the will.
yeah.
So I really think I'm not. Who knows what Trump could do tonight, tomorrow, the next day? But I think he's also putting pressure back on Israel that you guys are the ones that went in and started this shit. Fucking
Yeah,
finish it,
yeah,
right? Finish this shit. Get it over with. You've been taking forever with Gaza. Get it over with. And I
right.
think it's a really more of a pressure campaign on Bibi, because he's losing. He's not losing the
Well,
war.
I, I gotta tell you, my point of view on that is Israel can't. They can't close the door. They can't go to the final situation and close the door and lock it and be done with it. They've got to have U.S. help.
Okay.
And I think they're doing what they can, right? Launching the missiles and doing that, which, by the way, the difference between the missiles being launched is Israel is launching missiles against military targets,
Yep.
whereas Iran is launching missiles wherever the hell they can. They're doing shopping malls and apartment buildings and that kind of stuff.
Well,
But
no, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I just think the the bigger issue is not that we enjoin with Egypt. I don't think we need to um, launch our own missiles and all that kind of stuff that we may or may not have in a region. A wink, wink.
Right.
But um, I, man, it's just hard to. It's hard to um, state what our position is if we are not going to physically help Israel. And I think we don't need to do that. And I think President Trump says, oh, we definitely need to do that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
A question. I know we couldn't train them fast enough, but is there potential in the future to sell them a couple of bombers, and hold off on giving them the weapons until we decide we want to give them to them, but at least so they would have trained pilots on these heavy bombers? No?
Nope,
All right.
absolutely not. Yeah.
They're not there. All right.
No,
And
no.
then when I look at Iran also, they just learned a trick to overwhelm the system. So about half the missiles they launch every night are just projectiles with no tactical really warhead on them, hoping that the ones that they also send up with the warheads make it through because the system's overwhelmed. I so again, is that something where so they've got Iron Dome? Do we reinforce them with more Patriot missile batteries?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. At minimum, that's what we need to do for them. Yeah.
And I do know it is publicly out there. I do know that we're shooting down some missiles ourselves with our Navy, but Specifics aren't out there about that, but it is public knowledge.
So, the thing the thing that the media is not announcing is that Jordan and Lebanon are also shooting down missiles as they cross the horizon over, it's I think it's 1,200 miles from
Yep.
Tehran to Tel Aviv. And I think what aggravates me is the regular media is not saying, Lester Holt is not saying, well, Jordan shot down, 15 of those rockets as it crossed into
Their
their
airspace.
airspace,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Well, of course, the media's got to make a bad guy out of somebody, and they're going to make it out of Netanyahu until Trump jumps in and does something. Then they've got to, and that's, I mean, they're all cheering for it because they want to say, see, MAGA, he said no new wars, which isn't specifically what he said, but
Yeah.
the media, I am so ready for them to die, their business model to
Yeah.
die. I can't wait till Bobby Kennedy pulls pharma advertising, $5 billion a year worth of pharma advertising off of the networks, and they
Yeah.
just die, and they can go over to Blue Sky and cry all they want
All they
over
want.
there on that app.
Yep.
Yeah, cry all you want. Speaking of Blue Sky, JD Vance signed up for Blue Sky today. Troll, epic troll.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, so he posted like a 3-post thread about open discourse, and I'm happy to be here. And 15 minutes later, they suspended his account, and we were all talking about it on X and posting about it. And I had screenshots. I followed him over there on the Blue Sky app. About an hour later, because there was so much screaming on X and laughing and mocking the liberals for blocking the vice president of the United States, they reinstated his account so I could finally
No
comment.
way. Oh, come on.
I don't know what I said. I dropped a comment on his post. I was like, "This is awesome. This is the stuff of legends. I'm glad you're here." Like, I'm being a troll too, but yeah, he's like, "Hey, I heard this is the place where all the discourse happens, so I'm happy to be here. I just signed up for an account."
Nice.
I think someday he's gonna make a fantastic president. He's got the IQ, he's got the resolve. He also is an epic troll like Trump, but I
Yeah.
think he's a little more resolute. Where Trump just says stuff, and
Right.
he doesn't seem to go off like that. He's a little more like he takes a pause before he answers a question.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. You think him and Rubio maybe, or that could be a
Oh.
ticket.
Oh.
Rubio's a smart dude,
Yeah.
and he's young enough that if Vance got a term or two, and he was vice president, he
Yep.
totally could get a term or two at some point in time.
Yep.
After that, that'd be fun. Back to playing Dream Team, like we used to do on Spaces. Right?
Right.
Who would your pick be for? Well, I didn't have Bobby Kennedy for health secretary, but here he is, and he's doing pretty good work. I can't
Doing pretty
complain.
good job. Yeah.
I can't complain. I'm glad he's not president, but I like what he's doing. I really do.
Yep.
Tulsi, look, everyone's going to throw her under the bus until Trump says something nice about her, which he probably will in about 2 or 3 weeks. Right? He's already said nice things about Elon. He's already said this is it. People just can't. Did they forget the Trump first term? This is what Trump does, and I laugh every time. He'll call somebody the biggest sleazebag on the planet, and then say 2 days later, "Man, they do fantastic work. I'm so glad
Yeah,
they're with us." So, I mean, I couldn't imagine,
yeah,
not having them
no,
in my administration.
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Dude, the open source Intel freaks, and I like some of those accounts. They have been they can't contain themselves. They're watching flight traffic, they're watching naval traffic, they're and they're just oh man, Paul,
Those
it's so
guys are
funny.
out of their
They're
minds.
like
They're just
a
yeah,
plane flew from China. If it was
yeah,
supposed to go to Denmark, but it landed in Tehran. It was a cargo plane, so they must have been carrying whatever thing that's
yeah.
like blows their mind, right? They must have been carrying this, and I've been responding back to it. Was it just pallets of cash left over from Obama? Because he flew pallets of cash into Iran.
Oh my God, dude.
Ah,
You gotta stop. You gotta...
stop being a troll on the internet. Oh, whatever. I mean, people were laughing. I was getting laughing emojis, and oh my god, I forgot about that. And comments under my post. I got another video. So much shit's happened in the last 2 days. Did you see that video of Caitlin Clark? Getting
What?
up. Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever women's basketball star.
I love her.
There's a video. So there's a foul. Other team's player gives her a hard face palm right to the base of the nose.
Oh wow.
Caitlin pushes her off, and then someone gets in between them, and then a player comes from behind her and just body checks Caitlin down to the floor.
Really?
Yeah, like it wasn't called a flagrant, wasn't ejected from the
It
game.
wasn't called flagrant?
Neither one, neither foul. The face palm straight to the base. I mean, because Caitlin
Yeah.
was like, oh, and anyone's ever been hit there knows just how
Oh,
goddamn bad it gets you.
oh, it hurts so bad, dude. Yeah.
And so she's like this, and the lady's coming up to push her down. Someone stops that, and then from behind her, she gets sneak attacked and smashed down to the ground. And I'm to the point where I think Caitlin should take who was it? Was it Dr. Dre? Said, "I'll give you $5 million and let you start your own ring or
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
league." I think she should take that money and just get out of there. Go do that 3-on-3 thing that Dr.
Yep.
Dre wanted to start. Because they're gonna make her physically injured to a point where she can no longer play. They
That's
don't
what
appreciate all of the
the
upgrades in their life that they've gotten.
yep. And it's the black players that cannot stand her success.
Yeah,
And
some white ones too.
and they're saying she's average, but because she's white, she's getting all this thing. And all the while, she's hammering 31 points a game, 3-pointers, everything,
Right.
and assists, and a team player, and handing the ball and passing the ball, and they just can't stand it because the media has singled her out as, a badass.
But it's not just the media, it's the fans. So when these teams play each other and the Fever is not playing, the
Yeah,
stadiums are flipping empty. And before Caitlin Clark, they were playing in high schools because they couldn't
yeah,
fill. So now they're back into pro stadiums. And
right.
every time Caitlin Clark is going to be in the game, the entire stadium sells out because she's
Yeah,
there. And that pisses them off. It
yeah,
pisses them off. They believe Right, like Angel Reese, they're trying to pit as some sort of
Oh,
rivalry. She's
fuck
terrible.
Angel Reese.
I mean, what, 4 points a game after taking 50 shots because she can't get a ball in a basket.
Yeah,
These, they're terrible at basketball. But watching Caitlin Clark, I I've watched some. I watched a little bit when she was in Iowa. She has
yep,
incredible court awareness. Like some of the stuff she's doing, like reminds me of extraordinary men's teams, not in athleticism, but in the ability to be looking left and throwing a pass right,
yeah,
right, and catching a whole court off bound,
yeah,
just out of catching them off guards. So
yep.
I don't know. Should she probably take up? I'm gonna go. She should probably leave at the end of the season. Say screw you guys. I'm taking all my stuff and all my fans, and I'm going home. Screw you
Yeah.
guys. So, ah, what else? Oh yeah. Oh, we already did Vance. That was still so funny. What? Got open end source. There was. There's so much. I think I forgot all the shit that happened in the last 2 days. Oh, what else have you seen come across your screens?
um. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for putting me on the spot.
Absolutely, that's what we
No,
do
I
here.
appreciate it, dude. Yeah. Um. Um.
Is this where you kick me out of the house into the snow? And
Yeah.
I say GFY. I'm gonna go sleep in the spare bedroom.
Yeah. You get a spare bedroom, dude.
We'll deal with this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I lock my door so I don't get waterboarded.
Right. Because I'm coming for you, bro. I'm coming for you.
Oh, if people only knew. Oh, don't run over your boyfriend. God, that case was weird. Oh, um, Diddy thing is Sean Combs is still going on. In the prosecution has yet to prove anything with Combs in racketeering or trafficking. They proved to without a doubt that his ex-girlfriend, has done it, but she's not charged with anything. Now they proved he's an absolute sleazebag, but I think he's gonna walk on this thing, and the public is gonna be pissed, pissed. But the evidence that or the stuff I've seen, the prosecution has done an absolute shit job proving that he's done anything
Oh,
that he's
yeah.
charged with, right?
Yeah.
They've showed that he's a complete disgusting human being, but nothing
How
on
do you,
Rico.
so, and I can tell you as a guy who has done plenty of RICO uh, investigations, this, which I looked into as deep as I could on the, being an outsider,
Right.
my boy's not RICO. My boy's an alpha male. He's had some big parties. He's had some young girls in there. I don't see the the prime result for the state's attorney's office is RICO.
Right.
This dude might be a lot of things, but he is not racketeering, influence, corrupt operations. He is not that.
The
No,
nothing. They've got nothing on that they've delivered as evidence. The trafficking's the other one. And again,
he's not dude.
well, if anything, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, was the one trafficking, is what they've given evidence of. But he's like, "Hey, I'm having a party. Want to come over?" That's not trafficking.
That's not trafficking, dude.
People went there for whatever reason they went there. They didn't have to get in that car
Yep.
or Uber XL and go over there and hang out. Like,
Right. Even if they were 16 or 17 or whatever, they went over there. Diddy's got no control over that. You know, he doesn't have security at the door going, "Gotta see your ID, gotta see your ID," you know.
right. It's not a
And,
club.
you know, at the end of the day, maybe he should have. You know, maybe that was a little naive or whatever. But that, you know, I my man's a mogul. You know what I mean? He
Yes.
knows how to put music together. He knows how to do this. He knows how to do that. I just don't see him exposing himself to that kind of liability of, you know, juveniles coming and having a 3-day dick sucking party or, you know, whatever, dude.
Hey,
You know?
I am not making the case that this is a good and decent and moral human being. The case I'm
Right,
making is that the prosecution has got jack shit on him
right,
and charged him with the wrong charges. They
right.
could have charged him with battery with the video evidence of him beating the shit out of his girlfriend in a hotel. They could have charged him with other
They
things.
had
and
video of it, dude.
Right.
They had video of her going to the elevator, punching a button, and then coming here, him wearing a towel and coming up there and beating her fucking ass all the way back to the hotel room. Guilty. Guilty.
Oh, it would have been a 3-day trial. Guilty. I mean, I don't know what 3 years. Most of that being on home detention, but it would have been something. It would have started the ball rolling. But there's a connection too with the prosecution. I believe is the daughter of one of the judges who is or district attorneys who has sued Trump or tried to press charges against Trump. So there's a connection there too, which they don't link up, but you still go, why did you put this specific prosecutor on this case?
Right.
And you don't even have a case. Like, how did the district attorney come to the decision to make the charges? Like,
Yeah.
what evidence was presented to the district attorney? And the district attorney goes, "Yeah, I approve. We're going to charge him with racketeering and trafficking." Like, there's something's weird about this
Something
thing.
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
You know, something's weird about this thing. I don't get it. And again, I'm not advocating for his moral behavior. I don't know a whole lot about his
Yeah.
life.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
They have proved in the court of law that he does some pretty disgusting things, but they didn't charge him with being disgusting.
Right.
And they definitely didn't charge him with battery, which
You
they
know,
could have.
you know, and you have to take into consideration that if they did charge him with disgusting behavior, what
Wouldn't a
would
lot of
you and
people
I
be?
do?
Yeah,
mean,
wouldn't a
you
lot
know,
of people be in
would
trouble?
we have to turn ourselves in? Because, you know, I could
Man,
guarantee you, Sean and
dude.
Paul, on the, line of what may be disgusting, we've
Dude,
been there.
that kegger back in '89. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh,
Yeah, I would be hoping there's a statute of limitations that has passed since then.
oh yeah. 79 Monte Carlo with T-tops and
Oh.
motorboat sounds. And yeah, I don't know, dude.
Oh my God. You're so right. And that's why the courts can't charge people with that. I do understand though that you're trying to show character, which is why they brought all this stuff out about Combs, but they still didn't have a case, and I still think he's going to be found not guilty. That's my strong guess.
Yeah,
He's going to be found not
100%.
guilty.
Yeah.
And then the people who don't follow it, right? The people who didn't watch any of it, they're all going to flip out. And go, it's rigged. It's corrupt. The court system's
Yeah.
broken. I don't see it in this one. I don't see that it's broken. I see
No.
the prosecution did a shitty
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, I just think it's especially Rico.
Yeah.
It's just not a Rico case, dude. It's really not. If the guy was, they're looking at the wrong thing. If they really wanted Rico, they would look at his shell companies and his album labels and you know what I mean.
Well, and
That
you
kind
could
of stuff
you
could
could
be
probably get a
Rico.
Rico out
It's
of that,
just
but
not. You can't charge a guy Rico because he has a party over, and 2 or 3 of the people there are 16 and not 21. That's not a Rico case, bro.
well, and the thing is, they couldn't even prove he had knowledge there was minors
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly right. They can't prove he had knowledge that these younger than 21 or whatever were showing up to the parties.
No. Yeah. So, oh God. Well,
I wish I had those problems.
I know. We had quote unquote so house parties in college, right? That I would go to, or sometimes that my band was playing or whatnot. I always remember there was a quote unquote bouncer. The bouncer wasn't checking IDs. He was charging $10 per male and letting
Yeah,
every female walk past.
yeah,
That was his only job, was to collect massive amounts of cash that night.
yeah.
And that way they could pay the band, they could pay off the kegs they bought, they could pay off the
100%, dude.
DJ. Right, and that's probably
I've been that guy. Yeah.
and that's probably what the guy at the door at Diddy's house was, just collecting $1,000 from each guy
Yeah.
that came in and letting the ladies walk right by.
Right.
Right? So that
Yeah.
so that Diddy could refill all the liquor bottles for the next
Yeah.
party.
He wasn't worried. He wasn't, checking for age or anything like that. So, the guy's a mogul.
No,
You know.
right. Well, and to that point, that doesn't mean if there was minors in the house, that doesn't mean that he was intentionally serving them alcohol or drugs, or they can't even prove he knew they were there.
Any of that stuff.
He was
Yeah,
out by the
exactly
pool.
right. Yep.
They were over in the billiards room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a mansion.
You got 45,000 square feet in
Right.
your mansion. You don't know who's who and who's doing what and who's
And you're
where.
probably down in this club that you built that only your select 100 friends are in.
Right.
The whole rest of the house is partying, and you have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. You got no idea. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we made it. Let's close it out. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us late. We had fun. We might do one on Friday. If we do, remind me later this week to grab old funny commercials from Indiana and Indiana Beach. Let's close this out.
All right, brother.